back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today in the channel, I'm going to be reviewing a new release here. This just came out, I want to say, about 2 days before me filming this. I finally got around to watching it. It's been a very, very busy week with new releases, but this is one I was highly anticipating. This is one of my favorite Westerns. It's really been an active Western week here on Kavanaugh's Corner. But this is one of my all-time favorite Westerns. I love this film. Sadly, very recently, we lost Val Kilmer, who plays an absolutely incredible role in this movie. And the film is, of course, Tombstone. This movie has an all-star cast. I mean, just to name a few, you've got Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Michael Biehn, Powers Booth, Robert Burke is in this, who played RoboCop on RoboCop 3. He was also in a great movie called Thinner. We've got Dana Delaney, Sam Elliott, Stephen Lang, Joanna Pacula, Bill Paxton, Jason Priestley, Michael Rooker, Billy Zane, Charlton Heston is in this movie, and Robert Mitchum is the narrator. Just an unbelievable cast this movie has, but Val really steals the show in this film. His portrayal of Doc Holliday and Kurt Russell's portrayal of Wyatt Earp is, I mean, they really are two of the best performances maybe in any Western, honestly. They are just so phenomenal in this movie. Everybody else is great too. But Val as Doc Holliday is kind of one of those like legendary performances where the actor fades away and that character just comes to life. I was very lucky enough a few years ago to meet Val Kilmer at the Tampa Bay Comic-Con, and he actually signed a poster for me of Tombstone, and that to me will always be one of my prized possessions. He was so kind, and he was there not long after having surgery on his throat due to having throat cancer. And so it was awesome to meet him. He was so very nice, even though he could barely talk. He still made an effort to really, try to communicate with people. And it was just it was an amazing thing. It was an amazing thing. And I feel very badly that he's no longer with us, and my best goes out to his family. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about this all-new, really, really cool Steelbook here. This is the all-new 4K of Tombstone here, and this Steelbook is gorgeous. It's a 2-disc set with a digital copy, and I'll show you guys some close-ups here. I'll kind of cut them in. You've got the star on the back, the Deputy U.S. Marshal star. The cover of the front here with Kurt Russell and Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, the old school kind of like bounty poster almost that's behind them. It's just gorgeous. It's an absolutely beautiful thing, and the image on the inside of the Steelbook itself is also really cool, as Wyatt Earp and his brothers and Doc Holliday stroll down the street to their legendary gunfight at the OK Corral. This is actually a release from Disney, and I had to pre-order this through Walmart and Amazon just to secure the fact that I could get a copy. Walmart came through, ironically enough. I read on a lot of forums that a lot of people got their orders canceled, but I was very lucky enough to get this. This is one of the releases that's actually technically through Sony. So it's a Disney film, but it's actually being released through Sony, but the markings and everything on here are all Disney. So kind of an interesting mix there. Before we get into the review here, I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me recently. The channel is growing at a really good rate here, more than it probably ever has before. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, which is just crazy to think. I'm very much a niche content creator, I guess you could call it, because all I really talk about is physical media, movies on 4K and Blu-ray, sometimes TV shows. Sometimes I'll just talk about physical media in general, but If you're a fan of this kind of thing, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you can be notified when I make new videos. I really, really appreciate it. To jump right into the review here, the picture quality of Tombstone, this is a pretty impressive transfer. It's not as mind-blowing as maybe some other 4K transfers that have come before it. But considering the older Blu-ray of Tombstone came out, I want to say it's got to be over 10 years ago now. Comparing it to that Blu-ray, this is a pretty massive upgrade. The picture quality as a whole has been enhanced a lot. The colors on this one is really one of the big upgrades here. With the Dolby Vision, every scene has been enhanced now. In terms of colors, everything is much more vibrant, much more lifelike. Detail level is also a huge upgrade. The older Blu-ray definitely used some kind of artificial edge enhancements or something of that kind. It was a fairly decent Blu-ray. I mean, there wasn't anything too bad about it. It wasn't a bad transfer. But you could definitely tell there was some tinkering going on with the picture. With this here, there's absolutely no edge enhancements, no heavy uses of DNR here. This is a very natural looking transfer. The film grain in the movie has been mitigated a little bit from what I can see, but it is present throughout the film, and I love that. I love when the film grain is kept intact. I would say this is probably like a light to medium film grain, depending on the shot. It's not distracting in the least, but the detail level is kept super, super high thanks to that. And some of the close-ups are now so detailed. You can actually see like the stubble on Kurt Russell's face, and the close-ups of like Doc Holliday. His makeup in this movie is so impressive. It is very, very telling now of Holliday's condition and how he kind of worsens as the movie goes on. You can really, really see it, and I love that. I absolutely love that. The clothing detail now is also greatly enhanced. It's kind of well noted that the actors and actresses in this film wore period appropriate clothing, even the way that they were made back then. And it's a lot of heavy like wool and cotton. And they filmed this movie in some really hot temperatures. So I can only imagine these guys were dying making this movie. You can see the sweat just soaking through some of these outfits. It's really impressive stuff. There's a lot of close-ups of guns in this movie, and people shooting revolvers. There's a lot of Western action in this movie. Even the weapons now are super, super detailed. It's not extremely sharp, which is something that some people would maybe find a negative about this. This isn't a razor sharp transfer. It's a very natural transfer. And you can definitely tell that Disney has not really used any sort of like AI sharpening or anything in this. It just looks like a film. And the way it probably looked when they scanned this in 4K, it just looks very, very filmic. And I love that. I absolutely love that. There are certain scenes that just jump out at you now in this transfer more than ever. A lot of the movie has like an orange hue to it. And thanks to that Dolby Vision, you're really seeing these colors, the sunrises and sunsets. This movie has some amazing landscape shots. And it does get fairly bright at times, but it's never getting like blindingly bright. It's always like a happy medium. The darker scenes, thanks to the Dolby Vision, are much more enhanced now, and the black levels on this disc are pretty much dead on all throughout. Shadow detail is greatly enhanced in this 4K. Really, the picture as a whole is kind of like right there in that sweet spot where it's not extremely oversaturated. The colors are just right, but they do pop, and they pop in all the right ways. So I was very, very pleased by this new 4K transfer of Tombstone. The picture quality is just about perfect. I loved it. Absolutely great stuff. In terms of audio quality, as I mentioned, this does come with a DTS HD 5.1 master audio. Now, this audio track, I'm fairly certain, is the exact same audio track as the previous Blu-ray, which, again, was a pretty good audio track. It's aged very well. If it is that same audio track, I had absolutely no complaints. It sounded fantastic. Dialogue is crystal clear. The music in the film, the score of this film, Bruce Broughton's score is just awesome. I love that score to this movie. I do have to know, I did have to turn up the audio a smidge when I was watching this. The levels where I usually have it, it just didn't cut it. It was a little too quiet. And I do remember the older Blu-ray being kind of similar, but it did sound great once I got the volume up a little. Again, all the sound effects are perfectly placed, and there are a few times it really gets you immersed in the action. There's a pretty wild montage that happens later in the film, and there's a lot of horses galloping and gunshots all around you. And it sounded absolutely incredible. This is a movie, I think, that really, really, really could have benefited from like a Dolby Atmos or even a DTS-X. I think of any film that's a Western, this is probably the one that could really benefit from that. We got what we got. Again, it sounded great. I wish the volume had a little bit more punch to it. The low end is actually fairly decent on this. The bass sounded good. Again, no complaints, but I really wish this had an upgraded sound. I think to match the picture quality, it would have been a nice little addition, but it is what it is. We got what we got, and it's not terrible. As for the special features on here, all of the special features are actually on the secondary Blu-ray, and that secondary Blu-ray, just to note, does have the newer transfer on it. It does not have the old 1080p transfer. It seems to be sourced from the same transfer as the 4K, so that's a nice touch. All the special features are pretty much carryovers from that older Blu-ray, which is the making of Tombstone, which is kind of like in 3 parts. It's a pretty great making of little documentary there, so that's nice that they added that in. And there is the director's original storyboards. That is the OK Corral gunfight there. So it shows how they kind of mapped out that actual scene. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, there's no real new special features on here. Not sure how many of you remember this, but this is the old Vista series DVD of Tombstone. I dug this out recently. This is one of these releases where I've kept this through the years, and I'm glad that I did, because this has the director's cut of the film and a bunch of other special features that have never been carried over, including a commentary by director George P. Cosmatos, which has never seen the light of day again. If you have this, keep it, because I think this is actually going to become a collector's item, because the director's cut, again, has never been released on Blu-ray or this 4K release. It's not on here. So definitely hold on to this. As for the 4K of Tombstone, I would say if you got this, throw out your old Blu-ray. This is hands down the best this movie has ever looked. Picture quality was outstanding. The new transfer really, really wowed me in a lot of ways. The audio quality, again, was very, very good. I wish we had a little bit of an upgrade in that department, but again, wasn't too bad. And we do get the special features from the older Blu-ray as well. So if you are able to find this, definitely pick it up. It also comes with a digital code that redeems the movie on Movies Anywhere. So pick this up. If you can get it, get it. I'm going to leave a link in the description below that goes to Amazon. Not sure if they're going to get this back in stock anytime soon, but check the link regardless. If you do use that link, it does help me out a little bit on the channel. I don't really make a ton of money from it, but every little bit helps. And of course, if you really want to support the channel, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you more reviews like this. I want to thank you so very much for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Be on the lookout for more reviews coming very soon. Until next time, please, as always, stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.